Hello guys, my name is Michael, and today we are going to talk about a new widget, which is another derived widget from GTK toggle button. Last time we are talking about another widget which was derived from toggle button, which was the check button, and this time we are going to talk about a new widget which is called radio button, which is also derived from check button widget. So let's see, GTK radio button. Here is our radio. Here is our screenshot example of how it looks like, and how it will be look like when you create it. There are some functions here. There are also properties which you can set them. You have also here a setter and a getter, but you have also property which you can do it the same way how you do it with a setter. There are signals of group change. We'll talk about this and what groups are, or what they are meaning when we are coming so far. And then there are types and values, which is a structure of GTK radio button. Here's the object hierarchy. As you can see, the GTK radio button, there is from GTK check button, which there is from toggle button, which there is from button, and so on, bin, container, widget, and until G object. So basically everything you have here, or almost everything you have here, you can apply to this one, even if you have no directly information here. Like for example, as you can see here, you have signals like group change, but of course you can apply a toggle signal from toggle button, and of course from the GK button you can use its signals, click it, and so on. Okay, implemented interface says GTK radio button implements ATK implement or iFace. I hate this word. In other words, GTK buildable, GTK actionable, and GTK activatable. Includes, we have our GTK header, as you already know, and says a discretion radio button performs the same basic function as a GTK check button, as its position in the object hierarchy reflects, and so on. It is only when multiple radio buttons are grouped together that they become a different user interface component their own right. We'll see about it. Okay, CSS nodes, we have a radio a button, radio child, and of course you can here I think it says about class GTK, which is has main CSS and so on. A GTK radio button without indicator changes the name of its main node to a button and adds a .radio style class to it. The subnode is invisible in this case. Okay, so that being said, here they are providing an example, but we are not going to talk about it because we are not going to take these examples. We are going through every step until we understand these examples. Anyway, we are not going to use a box and something like that. Okay, let's see a short brief. So we have functions here, which are GTK radio button new, GTK radio button new with label, new with mnemonic, and so on. We are going to talk about these things. So let's see what the GTK radio button new says. GTK radio button new says it is a function which does a newly created widget, which takes a parameter GS list group. We are not going to talk too much about this, but I'm strongly suggest you to read about glist and gslist from glib, because you really need to know about these things before you move on when you have to deal with something like this. A GS list, it's about linked list and double linked list and so on, which you only learn when you were learning C programming. So basically this is a job which was did from you for you and so on. So let me show you something. GS list, just to be more serious. And here says single linked list. So basically this is about GS list, which I'm strongly suggested to take a look inside here after, or maybe before we proceed with this tutorial. One thing which is important is that you do that before or after this radio button tutorial. Okay, so that being said, we need this function which returns a widget, so we are going to create a widget, GTK widget radio button. We are going to point this radio button to this function. We are not going to create a group or something. GTK grid attach, so we are going to say GTK grid, our grid, and then the child, which is the radio button, and then we will say this time 0 left, 0 top, 1 width, and 1 height. Okay, so now let's see. Let me format it a little bit. I'll run the program, see what happens. As you can see, here we have a button, and basically this is the radio button. It is nothing special about it, it's just a circular button or a circular box, the different from the checkbox, which was not circular. And of course here there are not so much information which you can get, but you understand how it's working. Now let us create a CSS file. Let's call it style CSS. Okay, I think we are calling, yes, style CSS. Okay, and now let's add some changes to our window. Window, and let's say background color should be let's do it green, and then of course our grid, let's say background color orange, so that we have some different things in our program. Okay, now looks better, because now you see why the radio button is here and not here, because of the presence of the grid with the border of the window, which I think I was creating it on 50. Yes, it is 50. Okay, so this is basically the way how you create a radio button. Just a regular button, just a regular radio button, sorry. And now let's move with the next function, which says GTKRadioButton new with label, and let's see what this function does. So let's go up. So basically we're talking about the GTK button new. GTK button new with label is here, and says it's a function which returns a widget, takes a group as first parameter, and the second one is a label. So creates a new GTK radio button with a text label. Okay, the group, an existing radio button group, or null if you are creating a new group. So basically we are passing null because we are going to let glib to create our group for ourselves. So we are not going to create a group for our own. And the label, the label says the text label to display next to the radio button. Okay, so that's being said, we are going to call this function just after we call it this one, and we are still passing null, and this time we are going to set a text. So let's say click the button. I will run the program now. So as you can see, now we have a button here, which is a button with a label, and the last function, it is the GTK radio button with mnemonic. You already know what this means. Creates a newly GTK radio button contain a label, adding it to the same group as group. Where we have no group now. The label will be created using the GTK label with mnemonic. This, you should be familiar with this function. This will be automatically done when you create this function. It will be called for you. So basically you are not interested on this function now. Okay, it takes two parameters. The first one is the group or null. So of course we are going to pass null because we are going to let T2 create our group for us. And the last one is the label, the text of the button with an underscore in front of the mnemonic character. Okay, so let's see. GtkRadioButton new with mnemonic, so I put an underscore before C here. I'll run the program, and as you can see, if I hit now left Alt and C, it works fine, but you cannot notice only the underscore here. You see it. Okay, so basically this is the way how you create radio buttons. Of course, if you want to create 3 of them, let me see, left 0 top 0, left 0 top 1, left 0 top 2. At this point you have a problem because grid attachment, okay, parent grid radio button 1 2 1 2 1 2, and now as you can see, we were creating 3 different buttons, radio buttons. All of them, they are selected because they are not communicating together, which means they are independently, so they have every radio button which is here, which was here created, it is on its own, so it doesn't belong to a group or something. So this means this button doesn't belong to one of those, and so on. And if you need to do this, so basically this is the story with radio buttons. They have to belong to some groups or to another button, so that only one will be clickable. So this means when you click here, should the other one not be clickable, not be clicked, so active. So for this we'll have to make some changes to our program, but until then important is that you understand how it's working and how GTK radio button widget it is look like and how you can create it. So that being said, this is everything which we need to cover for our first tutorial about GTK radio button and about those 3 functions. And in the next tutorial we're going to talk about these 3 functions, because without these 3 functions we have no real radio button which we can use it, or with which we can work with. Okay, so that being said, I think it's everything now cover it. If there is something new or if I miss something, I will notice and I will fix in the next tutorial. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share with your friends and neighbors. And until next time, see you guys.